the child wants the dad and the dad wants the child, I mean, you have no choice as a mother. And I think that's the best decision as a mother. If only the child wants to know the dad and if the dad wants to know the child. But now sometimes as a parent and as a mother, you have to protect your child. Because if the man does not want anything to do with the child, you need to protect your child from such kind of, hurt and trauma and all those things that they're going through. Because no one wants to see their child going through hurt, No one, we all want to protect our children. So if the child really wants to meet the dad and the dad is willing to meet, I mean, it's about time. What will it cost you? So you really need to weigh your options and look at the consequences. As long as the man is not coming to take the child away from you legally and say, oh, CG, you did what? Nowadays people co-parent. I've actually come to see that nowadays, gone are the days whereby women used to be bitter and all those emotions that they used to go through. And nowadays women are like, you know what? If you want to see your child, you come and pick your child, go with your child, do what you have to do with your child, but make sure the child comes back. Ama, you take a child for a week. Nowadays, co-parenting is working really beautifully. So that's something we never used to see back in the day. But nowadays, even the men are like, hey, by the way, let me send something for the child, and can I pick the child and go and... Because at the end of the day, I think men have come to realize, kinaweza kuramba huko nje, unaweza enda upatane na mtoi wako amekuja amekuwa mtu mbigi sana.
Exactly.
So pia wewe, there's that, unataka kujifunika na aibu fulani. So for the men, I also think nowadays they've stepped up and they're like, I want to co-parent. Yes, it didn't work out with us. Yes, probably we are not even in good terms, but can I please see my child? And also women opening up to co-parenting. That is something that I've actually come to see that is really working out so well. So as a mom, you need to protect your child. As a woman, protect your child at all costs, but also you need to look at the interest of the child. What is benefiting the child? Not you as a mom. You as a mom, you have your own life, you have your own money. You can do anything that you want with your money, but what are the interests of this child? What are the benefits of the child?
Me bado na insist, money cannot buy you everything.
But sasa sunaona inabuy watu
independent women, girl power, women empowerment is okay. But money cannot buy you everything. Hapo tu ndio na insist. Money cannot buy you fathers for your children. Money cannot buy everything. Ndio, wanawake wamesoma, mko na pesa, you can do everything for yourself, ni sawa, sijakataa. But money cannot buy everything.
Money cannot buy everything, but it can facilitate a lot of things that you are looking for to have a comfortable, fulfilled, and wholesome life. So money isn't everything, and money can't buy everything, but it does facilitate those sorts of lifestyle. That's lifestyle that you're looking for.
Facilitation. Yes. Anyway, I want us to sample some of the feedback, what you're sharing with us on SMS. 22422, 22422 is where we asked you to be part and parcel of this conversation and just to share with us your thoughts on what we are discussing this morning. A lot has changed in the society, and we just want to hear what you have to say. Uncle Devi from Umoja, you say this problem started when sons became mama's boys. They don't know responsibilities of a man. Okay, we have another one here. Say, the moment we don't understand the purpose of a father in the life of a child, we will take things casually. God himself had to connect Jesus to a father, Joseph. Amen to that. Okay, a woman cannot raise a child on her own. 80% of most prisoners were raised by single women. 70% of gay men were raised. Really? When a woman takes the role of a father, the child becomes... Okay, I wouldn't advise that, since the marriage, according to African culture, is about the child and not the couple. This is why women were offered to be remarried in the same homestead. Okay, but you don't know where those numbers come from, but that's your thought as well. Psychological problems from Lucy. You say psychological problems arise when the child grows up. Single motherhood should only happen when there are major issues. All right, so... Nilijifungua nikiwa Form 3 and the guy dumped me, and from that moment I decided to raise my kid alone without any support. Nikarudi shule nikamaliza, and now I'm hustling to find a bright future for my son. Kudos, good job there. And we have Angie saying, nowadays what matters is the kid. The other person has become an AOB. Where? Okay, Angie. And then we have one saying, what's destroying relationships today is the so-called women empowerment. This gender misusing their empowerment. This is what is forcing men to move out of relationships. Okay, so God's purpose is for a child to be raised by both parents. People are now leaning on their own understanding. They have rejected God's ordinance. And this is the truth. Joe from Nax. All right. And we have Pastor Mushiri, you say we must understand that the will of God is that children be raised in a family setup. But because of human error and ego, it has led to this. Okay. And then we have one more there. Guys, the moment one of the parents is not a parent, it will lead to so many fixation. It will also lead to a society that has no direction. Kindly let's encourage people to have both parents. All right, so thank you for what you are saying out there. You've had it from Kenyans, Mike,
yes.
not me.
Yes, and which is fine. Mm-hmm. Everybody is entitled to their opinion about what they think a wholesome relationship should look like, what a wholesome parenting situation should look like. But the truth of the matter is there are children who are born to families where they are both parents and the children are suffering severe trauma. Mm-hmm. The children are neglected. The parents are both away working. The children don't have access to their parents because the parents are too busy. So saying that just because you have two parents in the household, that is the perfect situation, that is how it should be, irrespective of what other conditions are going on, I think to me is an erroneous argument. Mm-hmm. And
but saying that it has not worked for other people, so it will not work for me, isn't that also an erroneous argument?
No, you see, it's up to you to decide what kind of life you want to give your child, isn't it? It's up to you to decide what kind of life you want to give your child. If, for example, and there are many, and that's why I said there are many things that a woman probably is considering before she goes this route. Probably she even tried to be in an intimate relationship with somebody and it didn't work. Maybe it was violent. Maybe she's also suffering from her own trauma, you know. So there are many things that she has probably considered before going into this decision. This decision is not something that somebody just takes lightly and decides, I'm going to just do it like buying a pet. You know, this is a child, this is a human being that you're bringing up. So they have considered what are the implications, what are the responsibilities that are required of a parent, yeah? And there's somebody there who said something, and I think we have to get away from this idea that just because a mother is a single mother, that she's not fit to raise a child just because she's raising a child by herself. Mm-hmm. That is absolutely not true. Mm-hmm. Please let's dissuade ourselves from that notion that children who are raised by single mothers end up becoming prisoners, becoming thieves, becoming, if they're boys, they become, I don't know, like women, they become more feminine, they become less masculine, I don't know what. Let's please dissuade ourselves of that notion. Because there is no scientific evidence out there that I have seen or any study or research that actually backs those sorts of claims. These are just things that these are what we call social norms. People have just observed things and decided to come up with conclusions based on whether, backed by the understanding of religion or culture or where they think that society should go. But it also shows you how much society is stuck on trying to decide for women how it is they should live their lives. That you are a woman, so you must have a husband. You're a woman, you cannot raise a child by yourself. Mm. Where are we getting these ideas from? Yet, when we look in society, we see a lot of people who are raised in single-headed households who turned out to be just fine. Mm. Yeah.
But should it be a choice, Cutie? Because single parenthood also comes with a lot of complexities. Yeah, let's just be real about this. It is not easy. It's not easy. It's not easy to raise children on your own. Should it be a choice that you make?
You see, Safin,
when you can choose another alternative.
In relationships, you cannot force issues. Guys start out well. People start out well. The dating phase is good and all that. You get married. The pomp is there. Everything goes good. But Safin, when these issues come like violence, you cannot stay in a relationship where there's violence. You cannot stay in a relationship whereby you're getting emotional abuse, financial abuse. These are things that we overlook. So if I stay in a relationship and I feel like I can cannot really take this anymore, because it figures a point, you work on it so much, Safin, that it actually drains you. And we've seen even feedback from most of these people when they tell us, mi nimekaa juu ya watoto. We sit here and we see what they say. Nimekaa tu juu ya watoto wangu, you see, but you're suffering. You're actually suffering, but you say, let me just say, for the sake of the kids, let me just stay in this relationship, or for the sake of the society, I don't want society to judge me. Oh, maybe I am a choir, I sing in the choir, maybe I am a church member, maybe I am, you see, these things, they are things that really keep us in the relationship, because you don't want society to judge you, don't want your parents to judge you, or the people around you. But sometimes, Safin, at the end of the day, you have to choose what is good for your mental health, what is good for QT. If QT can really stay in this relationship, whether the children are there or not, I need to choose what's best for me. Because if I'm not in a good mental state, what about my children then? I cannot be able to take care of my children. So sometimes these people don't really become single mothers by choice. Some of them become by choice, and some of them decide, you know what, I can't take this toxic environment from this relationship. So they end up walking away, and there are consequences that come with that. You say, I'd rather raise my child on my own. I'd rather do that so that I am able to take care of this child. Because imagine, Safin, if you're in a relationship that there's so much violence, this child is going to have trauma, and they might end up not even getting married because of what they saw in that house. They'd be like, hey, my dad used to beat up my mom, or they used to shout at each other. So they're like, relationships are supposed to be toxic. So that's why we have so many traumas, people growing up with traumas. Zileza, you go to another relationship and you're like, hey, this can't work. Or if this is not working out like the way my dad used to do, or the way my mom used to do, then this is not good for me. So it really depends with what the mom is going through, and eventually it's the mom who goes with the kids. It's in very rare situations that you see a dad will fight for the kids. The dad is just like, you know what, fine. You go with the kids, I'll be sending you money, or you just go with the kids. And if I'm not staying with you, then I'm not going to finance the kids. You know, there are situations like those. So all I can say is single parents are really amazing people, and they do a really amazing job. Whether by choice or not by choice, at the end of the day, single parents, I don't think there's any parent that wants to see their child suffer. No parent wants to see their child suffer. And all parents, I mean, they raise us to be, you know, the best version that we can ever be. So whether a choice or not, single parenthood sometimes turns out to be the best thing that ever happened to a child. You know?
And you have a lot of success stories of people who were raised from by a single parent, and they turned out perfect.
Amazing.
So as a parent, you have to do what you have to do for your child. But Mike, even at that, okay, there has to be a but. I have to put a but. I mean, are we looking at a what should, before we make that decision, what are some of the things that this woman needs to consider? I want you to talk to that woman who has money, and she has decided she's going to pay a man to sire a child with her, and then mambo yao ishi hapo because of, it could be because of what she's gone through, the trauma, everything. Umesema vizuri, inafika mahali mwanamke ana make that decision based on, lazima kuna kitu imempusha afike your point. Before they make that decision, I want you to talk to that woman. What should they consider? Ni nini hiyo yenye bado labda anafaa jue kabla decide that I want a baby who doesn't have a father?
Well, I think the important thing first is to ask, is to ask yourself, are you ready, first of all, are you ready to be a mother? What does it mean to be a mother who is raising a child for the rest of my life without the father involved in raising this child? One thing that I would ask them to do is speak with other single mothers and find out, what is your experience like? What are the challenges that you face raising a child by yourself? And how have you overcome those difficulties? So then they go into it with a full picture of what it really entails for you to be able to raise a child for as long as they need to be raised. Then the second thing is to also be ready for the questions that will come from your child, from your circle, from your family, from your relatives, from your friends. There's the questions. They're not just questions, but also the finger pointing and the backbiting and the gossiping and all those things. There are people who will be out there saying whatever it is they're going to say. How are you going to manage all that? And then the third thing is also to understand that at some point, this child will need some sort of father figure in their life. Who within your circle do you see is fit enough to be a father figure for this child? It could be your brother, it could be an uncle, it could be even your own dad. It could be, but who within your circle is a male figure that you can introduce to this child so that then they also get some sort of balanced kind of parenting, even if it is not from the biological father.
Cutie?
I'd already thought about what Mike is saying, but anyway, there's no manual when it comes to being a parent. They say there's no manual, Safin. Whatever might have worked for Safin or might have worked for Mike might not work for someone else. So at the end of the day, when that child comes, know that that child is your whole responsibility, and that's a whole human being. And when this human being is going out there, you know, people will always be like, wow, I love the person that raised this child. Like, you are raised well. You see those comments, people say, hey, you are raised well. Your mom raised you. You come from a good home, you know.
I hope I do.
Because at the end of the day, Safin, sometimes your children reflect what you also are out there to the society. They're like, hey, mtoto venye amelelewa maze, ni kama hana adabu. You know, when those kind of comments come. So just know that a whole child is your own responsibility. Whether you're a single parent, whether you're co-parenting, or whether it's a perfect family, quote unquote, whatever situation a child grows up in, just make sure that you give this child values that when they go out there, they know what they're doing. And also, as when you may Twitter independent women and all that, I think I have the right to make my own decisions as a woman, what to do with my mind, what to do with my body, what to do with my life. I think women should not be judged out there for what they do, because at the end of the day, Safin, I am the one living this life. So if people want me to get married and I don't want to get married, I just want a child, whatever method I decide to get this child through, I think that should be my own decision. And I think everyone out there, not just women, everyone out there should actually stand up for what they believe in, stand up for your own decisions. And when you make a decision, don't start second guessing yourself. If I'm going to get a child through whichever method I decide to, I'll be like, you know what, this was the right decision for QT, not for the society, not for my parents, not for everyone out there. They will judge. Whatever it is you do in this life, everyone is going to judge you, Safin. So just do what you think is right for you, and you'll turn out to be, look at us, Safin. We are making decisions out here. Everyone is making their own decisions, and there's no manual, there's no script of whichever life you're living. Because at the end of the day, good or bad, who decides what? You want to be the jury, you want to be the judge, you also want to be the convict, you know. You choose one for yourself. So I say this, just do what you think is right for you, for your life out there, whatever decision, and stand with it at the end of the day.
On that note, there is somebody who sent in a message. Ako very personal na issue ya women empowerment. Anasema hapo ndio shida ilianzia. Hii kisomo, this money, this, you know, this women empowerment era.
Yes.
According to him, ndio imeleta hii shida yote yenye tunaongelelea.
So women empowerment era, kwa sababu
if things were like if the coin was to be flipped, would you reason the same?
Men are already
You're
empowered.
300K.
No. Men are already empowered as it is. Hawa hata wa need anything. I need mtu wote kuambia kutoka kitambo. Men were the head of the family, head of the houses, and they still are. So for a woman to actually come out and make their own decisions and do what they want, now it comes out as feminism, sijui women empowerment. What on a twisty issue? At the end of the day, I should be able to make my decision. Whether I'm a woman or not, it shouldn't matter, Safin. Even boardrooms are changing, whereby women are now becoming CEOs, women are becoming bigger people. But kitambo ilikuanga wanaume, unaenda kwa ofisi, you're the only woman that is out there. So it's not about women empowerment. It's about, saizi tumeji recognize, saizi tumeji, as I say in Sheng, tumeji nawo, tumejitambua. So yo kitu people are getting it the wrong way. I don't think it's about at women empowerment. It's about, I can make my decision right now and stand with it. Kitambo, no one would allow a woman to make a decision or even speak in a room. Ungekuwa judged vibaya sana. But now that we can speak out and make our own decisions, wanaita independence, wanaita nini na all that.
But Mike, what do you think? Do you think we have missed the point? You know, because there is this fear that as long as mwanamke anafeel anajiweza, anaweza ishi peke yake, she doesn't need a man in her life. She can take care of herself, her bills. She can take care of even 4 children on her own. That is why we are discussing what we are discussing today. Did we probably miss the point? Well,
so what is happening in society now is that you're seeing a bit more balance coming in, where, like QT said before, all the power, the authority, the decision-making rested with men. But now you're seeing a situation where, because women now have got more voice and agency and power, you're beginning to see now the scales being balanced. And this is a very unfamiliar territory for a lot of men where there is balance, where there is some sort of equity. So what should be happening now is a discussion about how do we then reframe the rules of engagement and how we live as a society where power rests with both genders, not just one. Where decision-making rests with both genders, not just one. So we are seeing a balance there. So the conversation now should be, how do we now live in a situation where Safin can make a decision about what she wants to do with her body, what she wants to do with her life, the decisions she wants to do with that have got to do with her career, how she wants to spend her money, who she wants to get involved in, how many children she wants to have. How do men and women now relate in that kind of situation where you have, as a woman, have the autonomy and the voice and the power to and the agency to make those decisions? That's what is missing. And and because it is a very complex conversation to have, many people are just saying, this thing is so difficult. I don't really want to think about it so much. It's such a complex issue. Why don't we just go back to what looked like it worked, which is Kitambo, where men were on top and they were the ones making all the decisions, you know, they were the ones managing all the resources. That was an easier thing, an easier society to live in because it was very straightforward. But now this has now become a bit more complex for people who don't want to take some time to think about how do we now relate as men and women in this society where there is some kind of equity that seems to be finding itself. And that's where the difficulty is. And people don't want to do the hard thinking about what that means. And that is why you find that even in intimate relationships, people start butting heads about, okay, sasa wewe, because you're earning money, you think now you can talk to me the way you want to talk to me. Or, you know, so we're not beginning to understand how to reframe relationships, how to reimagine what relationships now should look like, where both men and women are empowered. Yeah.
There's also this concern, because what is happening from my understanding is, and we've had this discussion even before on the show, women are increasingly complaining about the lack of responsible men, the lack of, even today, the lack of fathers. You know, women want fathers for their children. They're looking for these people, they are not finding them. What does it mean to be a father? I want you to talk to men out there.
Wow.
Kwa sababu just kuzalisha mwanamke peke yake, it doesn't end there. That's not being a father.
In fact,
so let's demystify this thing.
That is being a father, not being a dad.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
There's a difference. Yeah?
Okay, so
anybody can be a father. I can go and father 1,000 children out there, but am I a dad?
Yeah.
You know, there's a difference. Okay. So a dad is somebody who shows up for his children in every way possible. A dad is somebody who is present, not just physically, but you're present mentally, emotionally, spiritually for your children. A dad is somebody who is leading this child to find their purpose, to be the best version of themselves that they can be. And to do that, you must be a present parent. How many times do you see people, I think we all remember our dads would be in the house, but they would be reading a newspaper, or they would be watching a game on TV,
or they come after
or
people
something,
have slept.
or they come after people have slept. Just because you're in the house doesn't mean you're present. Yeah, you're physically there, but you may not be present. So that is somebody who is really present in their children's life, because you are the one, you have a responsibility to guide and walk this journey with this child to be the best version of themselves that they can be. That means you have a responsibility to instill values into your child. You have a responsibility to be the person who advises your children about what life really looks like out there, how to navigate all this, you know, and especially now in the era of social media and the internet and everything. You must be a parent who is present, and you must be the kind of person who is knowledgeable enough to guide your children through all those. I mean, even things like, for example, boys when they are preteens going into now puberty, yeah, you have to be, a father is very important, because you have to guide your son through that period. Explain to them what it is that their bodies are going through, what it is that is going to happen, what are the challenges that they're going to, and difficulties they're going to encounter trying to navigate puberty. If you're not there for your child at that point, it is a very, very difficult thing to do, to try and come when they're already 18 or 20 or 21. They've already formed their own mindsets. They've already gotten their value system from wherever they got it from. It's very difficult to even have a relationship. So having a relationship with your children is extremely important. So a father is somebody who is present. A father is somebody who is conscious about the kind of values they want to instill in their children. A father is somebody who walks the journey with their child to become the best version of themselves. Yeah.
Umesikia Cutie?
Nimesikia.
Sijasikia akitaja pesa. Sijasikia akitaja toll. Sijasikia akitaja
empowerment.
Sijasikia akitaja. Hizo vitu zingine mnatoa wapi Cutie?
Lazima tutafute.
Chocolate, sijui
toll.
Hizo mnatoa wapi Cutie?
Toll, chocolate and handsome.
Na tulikuwa na wewe hapa.
Amesema vitu very important but lazima huyo father, huyo dad lazima pia yeye step up. Unaona vile amesema? The dad has to step up. I don't have to go looking for the dad and telling them, oh, please come and take care of the child. Oh, please pay school fees. Maze, it's draining, Safin. You know, it drains your mental health. Ati, oh, unajua mtoi ako shule, please lipa school fees. Mtoi anahitaji diapers. Mtoi anahitaji food. Until when, Safin, will you sing these things to a man? Ndio nakwambia.
Baba si pesa.
Sasa, already hata hayuko. Kwanza, tuanzie hapo hata hayuko physically, hata emotionally hayuko. Sasa ndio nianze kumtafuta ndio alete hizi vitu zote kwa mtoi. Unajua, at the end of the day, pia mizi na nibo. So you also as a woman, you need to step up. Kama huyu baba hataki kukua hapo, imagine you'll have to step up and do all those things on your own. Na vile amesema, kwanza Mike amesema point ya maana sana. Father figure to a son is very important because there are things these men need to be taught that sometimes the woman might not be able to speak. I may not be able to speak to my son about certain topics, and when it comes to rites of passage and all that, the dad always needs to step up. So it becomes all along, Safin, at the end of the day, it becomes an emotional thing, a mental thing, and we need to do this as parents, both the dad and the mom. So please don't wait for a woman to come and look for you to actually come and raise your child. Please just step up. It's your job as a man to raise your kids responsibly, like physically, financially, emotionally. Just be there for your child. It doesn't matter whether you're with this woman or not. Hata kama tulikosana Safina huyo mwanaume, akamtua step up, take care of it. Ndo tuache kwenda kutafuta. Hawa wanaume watupatie watoto. Unajua?
Ameongea passionate.
Yoni nimeenda kumalizia nikisema, jo tutaki kufanya hivyo.
Sasa historia ya chocolate, sijui toll, sijui engineer, sijui daktari. Why are you shopping for those things as women? Why is it important?
Because
how many sura kweli ama
hiyo sasa hapo tukienda hapo tutakuwa personal, but it's not about sura. Hizo ni vitu tu watu hufanya tu just for fun, for the fun of it.
Okay.
Ile ati mtu anakapoa and all that, but they're not important. But at the end of the day, Safin, kama nimeshindwa kupata hizo vitu na relationship, through a relationship, there are other methods of getting them, and that's why nasema historia do money might not buy you happiness, but as Mike said, it facilitates the lifestyle you want to live, the good life, the car, the house. They're not necessary, but ina facilitate uishi hiyo maisha yenye unataka. So si kupenda kwetu ati madem tunataka kwenda kutafuta hizo vitu na do, but ikibidi hiyo pesa ina facilitate tu na life inasonga mbele. Unajua, at the end of the day, life moves on.
Pesa imeari.
Nakwambia vile vitu ziko kwa ground, Safin. Mungu kwambia ukweli na reality. Reality hivyo ndio kuko kwa ground. Nakwambia tu vile vitu ziko.
Kuna vile naweza taka, but kuna vile iko.
Kuna vile iko.
Social media unapatikana wapi?
Nitafuteni pale kwenye Cutie Lady Josh, alafu nikitoka hapa naenda pale Radio Citizen, tutakuwa na Shutterboy tukipiga reggae on wax tikitaka 10 AM to 1 PM.
All right, yes, Mike.
You can get me on Real Mike Washira on Instagram and Mike Washira on Twitter and Facebook.
He's the only real Mike. Anyway, thank you so much, guys, for watching the show. Let's do this again next Tuesday. My name is Safina Cheng Oma. Always a pleasure to do this for you each and every Tuesday morning. For now, it's a wrap. Have a good day and keep watching Citizen TV.